So, it seems like there's a bit of a situation right now in the Wuthering Waves community where a certain creator is sponsored and gave his take on the anniversary. Now, as we all know, the anniversary is very controversial and polarizing topic in the wuwa community right now, or at least it shouldn't be, because obviously the rewards are, I think, are vanilla. I wouldn't say they are the worst, clearly not, but they feel so vanilla. They don't feel special. They don't feel like it's the anniversary. It's like 10 or like 15 more polls than like a regular special. But like in Amius, they just gave us like a free 10 poll for nothing. Like there's like, oh, you know what? Here's 1,600 astrites. Have at it, boys. That's sweet. But besides that, like also when you compare it to like Honkai Star Rail, it's not that much of a difference. It's a slight upgrade from what Hoyo is doing, but nothing to write home about. It doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel like the Kuro we once knew and loved. There's a clear hoyification of Kuro games currently, which is sad to see, but that's just the way of the world and the way of Corpa. That's how Corpa operates, man, unfortunately. So, I do want to go over how good or bad is Wuthering Waves' second anniversary. Hashtag ad. Now, I want you to know from this man, Psyche. Now, I want you to know we didn't have hashtag ad over here. This is new. When I had it in my tabs, this wasn't here. Now it's here. And I'm assuming it's for him to reveal right off the bat that this is a sponsored content and for people to not think he is, serious about this. Like this isn't him talking. This is this is him being a professional, right? Because as we all know, this is why I really wanted to talk about this, because while we're still on the topic of grifting and all that good stuff, when we see someone is sponsored, we take what they have to say about the product with a huge grain of salt. I mean, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been around the internet. We're not stupid. We know business when we see it, etc., etc. So I do want to take a look into this because the dislike ratio is crazy. This is my dislike ratios. This is my like to dislike ratio. This happens to my channel. This doesn't happen in other people's channels. Everybody hates me. Why is this? Why is this happening in different places, Chad? What is going on? But so anyway, first comment right off the bat. 1929 mentioning the sponsor at the last 10 seconds of the video was definitely a move. People are clearly upset about the fact that he didn't reveal that it's sponsored and wanted people to eat what he was selling without them thinking that it was sponsored, therefore using his influence to, it feels maybe it feels like damage control. But here's the thing, we haven't heard what he had to say here, so I'm really interested in hearing what he had to say. Are people fair about their criticism towards him, or are they being unfair and are just mad at him for taking a bag? Because as we all know, that's kind of a sin for some people in the space. So without further ado, let's get active.
Wuthering Waves is an interesting story in the gacha space. For a game that had a rocky launch and an equally tepid reception at first,
Oh, we're talking about the story of the product. We're not talking about the story of the game. Okay.
it managed to bring itself to a state that doesn't compare to its earliest iteration. This is because Kuro Games, as they have done in Punishing Grey Raven, has continued to up the ante rather than remain stagnant with its initial success. However, just because the game has made several leaps in terms of its presentation and combat, doesn't mean it's not without flaws. Last year, as Wuthering Waves celebrated its first anniversary, it was subject to a poor reception.
There's a lot to talk about. Just in the screen, they have cubes back. Of course, people are gonna get mad. The fucking cubes are back. Oh, look, chat. I don't care what anybody says. Fuck them cubes. They're cute. They should be emotes or the things like in the profile pics. Or I think they should be a product. Plushy cubes. That's a $1 million idea, Kuro Games. You're welcome. Just make plushies out of them. Easy.
Last year, as Wuthering Waves celebrated its first anniversary, it was subject to a poor reception due to its flawed celebration that set up a lot of expectations from players that weren't met appropriately.
Yes.
Thus continuing the curse of the first gacha anniversary that sometimes gets floated around.
Okay, so apparently this is a thing in the gacha space. Okay, so the first anniversary typically is a flop. I mean, no one beats Genshin. They gave like 3 fouls. Remember that shit? Genshin was crazy.
Because of this, all eyes are on them as we come close to the game's second anniversary. So taking Kuro Games' history of solving issues with their games into account, as well as their tendency for providing players with plenty of rewards for misgivings, will this anniversary prove to be a much better experience than the last?
No. It's not necessarily proven to be better, because if it was, people wouldn't be so critical about it. Anyway, you're slow? How am I slow? That's a question. Where the fuck is the question mark? Fuck you mean it's a question? How am I supposed to know it's a goddamn question? Anyway, let's keep going.
I want to dive into the topic that makes players wonder what will be different this time, and perhaps answer the question, how many rewards will this anniversary give? Is the feedback from the first one taken into a consideration?
Well, are they going to take the feedback to the second one into consideration? That's the ultimate problem. That's the ultimate question. It's the ultimate question, man. We don't want to hear nothing about no, well, you know what I'm saying? They took the first anniversary feedback and already applied it. They stopped multiple banners. They stopped doing that, for example. Cubes are back though, sadly. They should have just, like I said, just profile pics or something. This shouldn't be an event. And better qualities of life too. Maybe no 50-50, that would have been nice. So yeah.
It all began with the release of version 2.3, which brought with it the first anniversary celebration. Players had high expectations from this game's anniversary in particular, and for good reason too. Who could forget that the fact that not even halfway through the year, they gave away the Electro DPS unit Shanli Yao.
Those were the days. Yo, chat, type 1 if you remember free Chang Liao, 15 free pulls when Japan just literally had a weird typo in Jian's weapon. The character banner sucked. So like they gave us like 20 free pulls. Oh, free 5-star selector right off the bat. Just cause. Those were the days, man. Shouts out to everybody who couldn't play the game at the start of the game. When the game launched. When the game launched and you couldn't play the game, shouts out to you. We appreciate every single one of you. It is thanks to you guys that we have gotten so much freebies. It's not even funny. Thank you, our fellow fallen warriors. We appreciate you.
Not to mention, they have had plenty of mini events where players were rewarded with both standard and premium pulls.
I want to talk about this. This should change. This formula here, make them 10-10. Make them double 10s. If you want to do this, make them double 10s. Why in the hell am I penalized by standard pulls here when obviously I will want the premium unit, especially as a day one player? If you want to keep this formula for newbies, that's fine. I feel like standard pulls are somewhat valuable at the start because you still don't have you don't have the Static Mist, Emerald of Genesis. Like sometimes you don't have like, weapons, right? So like the best middle ground is obviously 10 here and 10 here. Like, damn, that is so stupid.
With that kind of history, you would expect the anniversary celebration to give a bunch of surprises, right? Well, the stream did kick off on all cylinders at first, with Kuro announcing a few changes that would be heavily praised, such as the free glide skins, a birthday system which allows you to pick your favorite resonator to celebrate your birthday with, and a feature that allows you to reroll your echo's main stat, reducing the grind needed to acquire specific echoes to optimize.
This is the first anniversary. This isn't the second anniversary.
Praise was just going through the roof, but then the hype started to die down with a few of the upcoming announcements, such as a silly cube event that didn't really contribute to anything story-wise.
Hey, look.
Contribute to anything
The Jinsei and Shorekeeper cubes. Oh man.
Story-wise.
And look at the Cantarella one. So what's her name? Camellia one. So cute.
No new bosses or echoes to celebrate the occasion, and most outrageously, a huge rerun event in which players would pull for several of the previously featured characters, including characters from the first version of the game.
This wouldn't have been a problem if they just given one for free. It wouldn't have been a problem at all. And even to today, I think they should bring this event back. Like, why the fuck are people complaining about this is beyond me. This is like a self-report that you have a gambling addiction. Like, anybody that complains about this is self-reporting that they have a gambling addiction. That's all I hear.
After the stream was done, it was found out that the total amount of pulls for this crazy amount of banners was 20. And only 10 of those were applicable for the limited banners. To put it bluntly, the first anniversary was not good. The community rallied once they figured out how this content was essentially just another patch in the content cycle. Not
Exactly. It doesn't feel special. It's vanilla as shit.
much of an anniversary celebration.
Exactly.
Especially because later on, players found out that there was a special event that provided further pulls for players that were pulling for the banners during the...
By the way, this event was decent. Where did it go? They gave a lot of free pulls in this one.
What if you didn't want Zanny and wanted a special event that provided further pulls for players that were pulling for the banner?
Also, god damn. That tie, man. That tie is holding on to dear life. Look, she took off the tie. Look at everything came off. Everything came off, man. Sheesh.
What if you didn't want
a dope-ass
Zanny and
pick.
wanted to skip for other units? Well, I guess you're out of luck. Oh, and to rub salt on the wound, the rerun banners still abides by the 50-50 rule, so players could.
That's a very, very important thing to bring up. Like they didn't even help you with that. Like they didn't even say, "Oh, that we're making it guaranteed." I'll be honest, I think that was a smart move on their part. Here's why. Because if they were to say this time is guaranteed, it would have also been a huge spend money bozo. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is. Because at that point, the incentive is too strong, and you want to take advantage of these banners that are guaranteed right now. That's predatory shit. I'm not saying the disciplined is not going to enjoy that. I'm just saying for a lot that have a hard time controlling themselves, they're going to call this out, is all I'm saying. But obviously, it would have been at least a good move. Still not enough, though. Everything should have been free, in my opinion.
Some might argue that this particular banner was targeted towards whales. However, that might be a bit of a stretch since whales don't really need rerun banners of this caliber if they already got the units they wanted, especially with the added risk of losing the rate up. The only incentive whales had towards buying anything was the top-up bonus reset, and that's about it.
The double banner reset is so predatory as well, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even funny. Like, of course, you're going to see that reset, you're going to be like, oh, shit, well, I want to spend now to take advantage of the double. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Save your money. Unless you have money. If you have money, you know what? I shouldn't be policing how people want to spend their money. If you have money, you go right ahead, King. If you don't overexert yourself for that. That's predatory. That's it. I think that's the best way for me to clearly say what I'm trying to say. Just let me clarify it.
It wasn't good enough for a lot of people who expected rewards on par with what they got in prior versions. This issue was acknowledged by Kurobot Games themselves in a follow-up post shortly after the stream was aired. I talked about how there was much room for improvement to support the game in the long term. Because of this, they added another event that provided 30 more polls, and the anniversary came and went.
There's so many things wrong with what he just said. This is not 30 polls. It looks like it's 30 polls. It's not 30 polls. The reason why it's not 30 polls is because you don't get to choose where you get to dedicate those resources in. If you want a character, and only the character, that's just 10 polls, which is what most people want. Most players do not give a flying fuck about the weapon, nor the standard polls. We're set. Like, we're good. Like, most of the time, we're like, weapon polls are like this. Oh, good, great, thank you. We'll just 10 more pity to guarantee one sig out of 5. This is literally, if you're one of the majority of players, this is 10 pulls. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Let's call a spade, man. Yes.
However, one more sticking point began to surface as the game continued to grow, quite literally. The game's file size. Wuthering Waves now has become notoriously infamous for having the biggest file size across mobile and PC. The humongous file size is also coupled with a bunch of optimization issues that, despite making the game look absolutely crisp, also make the game have massive performance drops in terms of graphics on mid to low-end PCs, or turn phones into an atomic fire hazard. So now
oh man, that's tough. That is tough. That's the things we're willing to go through just to play anime video games, man.
Fast forward to today to see
what's with the Chisa cube up there, man. Chisa looks crazy.
What the second anniversary will do to correct the mistakes made during the first one.
Okay, so basically he just set up the approach that is somewhat decent when it comes to the first anniversary. How Kuro Games approached the first anniversary, which was a decent approach. So this is what he's trying to say. Like, Kuro listened and they did shit. Let's see what he has to say about the second one. I think this is going to be the most important and vital part of the video.
A lot of stuff that will be added here, so let's break it down one by one. Before I go into the new features, I would like to point out that players will be receiving up to 40 polls during the patch. While this is acceptable by the standards of a normal patch, many believe it doesn't match up to expectations for an anniversary. There weren't any sort of character selectors, so I can understand the disappointment there. I'm not going to deny or redirect the concerns, because I do think there's room for improvement as well.
Okay, so he did call it for what it is. All right, so he did say this is not enough. Okay, so why are people still mad at him?
Ignoring the celebrations, from the perspective of version 3.3 itself, the update content is quite satisfying. There's the two new resonators for the patch, Hiyuki and
very good looking resonator. God damn, look at her. She's so adorable.
Denia, the former of which is the first major Glacio DPS since Carlotta all the way in 2.0. Yuki focuses on the Glacio chaff mechanic alongside the recently introduced Toon Strain. She has very strong combat capabilities and can cover a huge area of effect with her powerful attacks.
Anyway, he says, anyway, she's going to be a Glacio unit that's pretty good. That's what he's saying. I have no idea what he just said, but I think that's the TLDR.
Meanwhile, Denia focuses on Fusion Burst, becoming an ideal companion for one of the marquee characters of version 3.x. Denia also possesses two forms, which aid Toon Break characters or Fusion Burst characters.
There's so much we can do with that.
Other events include the return of the Cube mini-games that add more fun for casual players.
As a casual player, as a very filthy casual player that didn't even know what the fuck a tune string is, I can tell you, nope. Nope. I think it's for the neo casual gamers. It's like if I had a kid and I want to keep them busy with something that's easy for them, give them the Cube event. It's not for me. No, that's not what I signed up for wuwa. I'm here to hack and slash.
They have done a great effort to also reduce the game's file size. Now,
ooh, huge!
Cutting the file size to close to 40 gigabytes after giving them resources that won't be used anymore. Players should be able to return to the game across all their devices rather than be forced to quit or using cloud devices. Additional features allow further cuts to the game's basic download resources to less than 30 gigabytes. After discussing the strengths, let's now look at some interesting issues. In my opinion, the biggest problem for this update is that the anniversary atmosphere feels somewhat lacking. I understand the dissatisfaction and concerns from players. With any celebration of a game, a large number of new players are expected to join, and there's generally a strong need to expand character rosters. At the same time, as the game enters its third year, early characters have less room to reappear or are likely to be power crept. Given this context, compared to the first anniversary, it's reasonable for the second one to introduce a larger scale rerun banner. At the same time, the rerun system could be further optimized. For example, implementing guaranteed rate ups without off-banner outcomes or other exclusive anniversary benefits.
I have a different one that may shock you. You ready for this? Just buff the old units. Just give them buffs. Just make them somewhat relevant again. Oh, chat! Oh no! What? Buffs for free? No, if you want the old unit that you like to be powerful, you need to get copies. That's right. You need to spend more money to make this character that you like relevant and strong like the new ones. That's right. Just buff them. Just buff him and problem solved. Like, what are we talking about?
Another option would be to gradually add older 1.x characters to the standard banner pool.
If you buff them, add them to the standard pool. Holy shit. I talked about this before, actually. Buff the old units and put them in the standard banner. The standard character banner would get so much value. Chat, be honest. Type 1 if you pull for the standard weapon banner. Type 2 if you pull for the standard character banner. I think this is going to be an important question because I feel like most smart players are just going to use their pulls and the standard pulls they get for free in the weapon one. It's 100% guaranteed. You know exactly what you're going to get and gives you more value. Whilst the characters are literally just a lose 50-50, you're going to get them anyway. So like, in order to give that particular banner value, make old units go there, but give them buffs. You want to know who's giving buffs? HSR. HSR gave Sela a buff. Hey, yo, hold on. I've seen this crazy screenshot. I just want to confirm it. Like, I want to confirm it so badly. I want to confirm it. I mean, she went from all the way from the bottom and jumped all the way to tier 1.5. And I don't know what this is, PF? Pure Fiction? I think it was Pure Fiction. So in Pure Fiction, she's tier 1. She's a tier 1 unit. This is the first unit introduced in HSR. This is Gion. This is literally Gion. But this is version, how far are they in SSR? Is it 4.0? I think it's 4.0. They are in version 4.0, man. That's a lot. That's pretty good. And that's not the only character they buffed. There's Kafka. Kafka, they buffed all the way up to tier 0.5. Wait, she's a tier 0 in MOC? There's no way. You're kidding me. Holy shit. Black Swan and Kafka are tier 0 units. Post buffs. You still need to get like this piece of shit. I think it's her. You need to get her Hycelin. I'm pretty sure you need to get Hycelin. But these are literally just sitting there gathering dust. Having a unit that can revive other past units is not bad business practice, in my opinion. Like, I feel like a lot of players will take that with a, you know what, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll get to replay my units. Great.
This is actually my biggest wish for the game, for it to easily outshine the competition. At this point,
That's nothing. What the fuck? The competition is NTE now, pulling up with no 50-50, my man. What? Are you kidding me? And the competition is giving tier 0 units for free in a game that's notoriously known for having bad power creep practices. SSR is fixing their stuff, but wuwa isn't? The supposed devs that listen? Hey, yo, I need Solon to get his head out of his chocolate box.
compared to the first anniversary, the amount of polls given has increased slightly.
He's not pulling a better than nothing. You are not pulling an Atsu better than nothing. Do not do that, man. Don't do that.
I do think the time has come for older characters to return or receive buffs. I can only...
He said it. Thank God. Yes.
Regardless of how you feel with the anniversary, it may be worthwhile to enjoy the considerable amounts of free content and new additions.
Freaking based W, yes. That's the best take one can have and the best approach one can have towards these games. Ultimately, it's free. Go in there, have fun with the free stuff, and you can dip out. It's really not that hard. That's it. Just go in there, have fun. It's free. It's literally free. It's a free buffet. Eat you some, dip out. That is the best approach.
I hope you enjoyed this brief look at the history of Wuthering Waves' anniversary history, and thank you to Kuro Games for sponsoring this video. You can use the link in the description to try out the game, and for those that are on PC, the game is also available on Steam.
Okay, so I think the problem here is he mentioned the sponsored part at the end, where a lot of people don't know, don't watch. As a YouTuber, I can tell. I mean, all in all, there's some damage controlling, but I feel like he's been slightly fair. But he doesn't. Here's the thing: he presses more on the what Kuro did somewhat good. He presses on that, and for the things they should do, he just glances over, like, oh, just give them buffs, and he just keeps it moving. Really? Like he just mentioned it in passing over here where he mentioned it, but I feel like that's like a very important part as to why the current format and current formula in which Kuro Games is approaching the game and approaching their consumers, which are us, just feels lazy, Hoyo slop, like, and Hoyo is starting to do more a better job when we just looked at SSR right now. So it's like, dude, what is going on? So it's like, I think it's time for Kuro to just literally slow down and revisit this and have a better approach. Or I'll be honest, NTE right now, man, they're about to have a field day. They about to eat if Kuro keeps going like this. And here's the thing, I'm all for it. Let them fight. That's all we care about out here, man.
Again, while I do think there are still some minor flaws with the game, I don't have any problems recommending it as an open world game to get lost.
Absolutely. Yeah, wuwa is 100% recommended. Absolutely. But is it a game I would recommend for players to keep investing their time in, considering the dev practices that are starting to be blatant and obvious, that are just lackluster, especially in comparison to what we used to know? Not that much. I would go... You know what? I would highly recommend playing this game and having fun with this game. But I don't know about like keeping up with it and stuff. Like they can be pretty weird. So like, you know, play this game with a grain of salt. That would be good.
So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to spend moderately and have fun out there.
Well, that's it, man. That's it. What do you think, chat? Do you think people are very critical about him for good reason or not? I don't know if it deserves this much, you know, grrr. I'm sorry, but thank you, Kuro, for sponsoring the video. Was just a cherry on top, Lamau. I get it, bro. The bag is more important than ever. I mean, thank you, comments. You saved me 9 minutes of my life. Halfway through the video, I was like, this doesn't feel one of his videos. Something is off. Then I glanced down the sponsored link and immediately, now everything makes sense. I feel like he just wrote whatever and uploaded. I don't think he wrote whatever. I think it's obviously a move. Like it's like this first commenter here said, the last 10 seconds in the video is where the sponsored ad was in, and Spalister mention was in, is definitely a move. Like this is obviously scripted. He did that on purpose. And I think this is where people are calling out the most is definitely he just didn't reveal that this was sponsored right off the bat. Because when you reveal that you're sponsored right off the bat, people immediately hold their shields up and start taking what you say with a grain of salt. The fact that he didn't makes this come off as damage control. But all in all, when you take in everything, when you take in everything, it's somewhat fair. I think it's somewhat fair. He also said pretty much the same things I said as well as I was commenting on this. Obviously, I added more to the let's just say to the solutions I think Kuro should be implementing, and he did not, which is where this could come off a little, you know, lacking in terms of a critique towards the anniversary. So yeah, I think it's just sponsored. I think the what made it a problem was the fact that it's sponsored and not necessarily the creator themselves, is what I think. Taiki is a Kurobot. He says he play any gacha game he can make content out of. The game, the video comes off Kurobati. That's it. But like okay, here's the thing. He was fair in his criticism, but he didn't tackle the real important parts. Like he didn't put more emphasis in what needs to be solved. He just said, "Oh, well, you see, they did this good stuff that one time, and this time, at least it's slightly better without having to call them out or anything. There's still problems. They should still do this and that. But all in all, I would still recommend this. You go ahead and do it." That's not what people want to see right now, because now we're at a crossroad with Kuro Games. They're either gonna stop, just descend into hoyification, or time we really start getting more passionate about NTE than we are with Ring Waves. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be seeing ya.